Today I'm going to introduce you to Mr. and Mrs. Malcolm and their granddaughter. Mr. Malcolm is going to tell you the story of how Mr. Anil Sanghani, Director of Law Associate, 160 Ballard Lane, Finchley, London, duped them out of £100,000.
Okay. I'm James Malcolm. I was introduced to Mr. Sanghani by Lester, and after a few meetings with Mr. Sanghani, he explained, we should mention him Wilfred, uh, and Mr. Sanghani explained that he also does will, and I asked him was to do or will for us. And after meeting Mr. Sanghani about the second time, he explained that he also does investment. Then I explained to Mr. Sanghani about the money I have in the bank, and he explained to me that it was just waste of time because of how much he could have, how much better he could have done for me by investing the money with him. Then I invested 100,000 to Mr. Sanghani between myself and my wife. I've been quite a few times to see him, and after one time he explained that miss out about the will.
That's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
You can
So I went to Mr. Sanghani to he explained to me that he also does wills, and he done the will for us, and after he explained that he also deals with investment. I uh, explained to Mr. Sanghani about the money we have in the bank. He explained to me that it was just waste of time because the rate, the interest that they're giving us in the bank, he could do much better by investing the money for us.
And how much did you give to Mr. Sanghani, Mr. Malcolm?
Then I gave Mr. Sanghani 100,000 for myself and my wife.
Has Mr. Sanghani ever returned that 100,000?
No.
Has he returned any of that money?
He gave me back 7,750.
He returned £750.
Yes.
Have you been to see Mr. Sanghani about this money?
I've been several times.
I understand that you went with your niece. Can your niece explain to us what happened when she went with you?
I'm Mrs. Rebecca Malcolm, and I'm Mr. James Malcolm's niece. I went with him to see Anil Sanghani with him to find out the reasons why he was not getting his money back, and he still kept on giving excuses that if he comes back in a couple of days he will get it, and also he wanted an update on his will, but he still had no evidence to prove that the will hasn't been updated.
Did you have a copy of the check?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Have you heard from Mr. Sanghani recently?
No.
Not recently, no.
Have you got any money to take Mr. Sanghani to court for the money? Can you pay lawyers?
No.
So you're not able to pursue Mr Sanghani for your £100,000.
Unless I borrow some. Unless I borrow it. Well, it's all depends on how much it would cost. So then I would have to borrow.
So you have no money. What was the £100,000 for?
That 100,000 was for investing. He was going to invest
No, no,
it.
no, no. What did you want to use the money for?
Oh, for us, well, it's just for our saving to use around our retired time.
Mr. Malcolm, can you please tell us what did you do for a living?
I work as a care officer with the Bar of Camden for about 30 years. And after we retired, we met Mr. Sanghani, explained to him
Would you say that money was your retirement money?
it is our retired money. Mr. Sanghani explained that that interest we was getting in the bank was more or less useless. If we invested with him, we would get substantially more.
So he said to you, if you gave him the money to invest, you'd get substantially more than the bank was paying you.
That's right.
That's
and the
right.
rate that was paid.
Did he tell you where he was going to invest the money?
No, he didn't.
Has he given you any documentation, receipts or anything like that?
No.
Mrs. Malcolm, do you have a story regarding, have you ever been to see Mr. Sanghani with your husband?
He came here.
He came here.
Who came here?
Mr. Sanghani came here to visit us, yeah.
And? Why did he come to visit you?
When he came, we were sitting there, explaining as a
explaining what he
does for a living.
What he invests in.
He explained what he does for a living, and we explained to him that that money we have there, it would be. But he explained to us that that money we were saving there was wasting of time. He'd given us
more interesting.
So you never had your money back?
No.
No, we haven't got it back, no. Apart from the 700 he bring back when he was going on holiday.
Who was going on holiday?
We
was going on holiday.
And he gave you 700 as pocket money?
Yeah.
Yes, grandma. No,
now you've heard the story of Mr. Sanghani and Mr. Malcolm. Mr. Sanghani clearly goes around cheating vulnerable people. These are normal people, hard-working. They're now retired. And Mr. Sanghani is living quite wealthily in his mansion. And these people, hard-working, not business people, just labourers, work very hard to save up £100,000. And this man has just taken it, returning £750, giving it to them as pocket money when they're going on holidays. We need your support. We need your support for the return of Mr. Malcolm's £100,000. Thank you.